Have you ever wondered what would happen if an Amish wife could not get pregnant after 5 years of marriage? In a culture where motherhood defines a woman's entire identity, infertility does not just affect one couple, it changes everything. Here is that complete story. What every Amish wife expects. An Amish woman enters marriage with one clear expectation. She will have children, many of them. Her own mother had 7 or 8. Her sisters are already expecting. Her neighbors have full households. The Amish do not use birth control. Children come naturally and quickly. Most Amish wives are pregnant within 12 months of their wedding day. Motherhood is not just a role. It is her entire identity and purpose. Year 1. The waiting. The first year passes. She cooks, cleans, sews, and manages the household. She and her husband settle into their routines, but no pregnancy comes. This is not alarming yet. Some women take longer. She tells herself to be patient. God gives children in His own time. She prays quietly every morning. She watches her young sister-in-law announce a pregnancy at church. She smiles and offers congratulations. Inside, she feels the first small tremor of worry, but it is just the first year. There is still time. Year 2, the questions begin. By the second year, the questions start, not asked to her face, but present. Women at the church fellowship meal glance at her stomach when she enters the room. Older women make comments that carry double meanings. "You look well rested," one says. Another smiles and says God's timing is perfect. These are not innocent remarks. They are carefully worded acknowledgments that something unusual is happening. The wife hears them and understands completely. She also begins asking questions herself. She talks to older women who struggled with fertility. She tries adjusting her diet. She tries herbal teas recommended by her mother-in-law. She prays more specifically now, "Lord, give me a child." The prayers become daily, then several times daily. The worry that was a small tremor in year 1 has grown into a steady hum of anxiety she cannot quiet. Year 3, community speculation. By the third year, the community is talking openly. Women who would have whispered in year 2 now have full conversations about the situation. At quilting bees and work frolics, the topic comes up regularly. "Did you hear she still has not conceived? Do you think something is wrong with her? Maybe it is him," one brave woman says quietly. The others look away. No one pursues that thought. In Amish culture, infertility is assumed to be the wife's problem. The husband is rarely questioned openly. The wife feels this. She sees how people look at her. She notices when conversations stop as she approaches a group of women. She knows she is the subject of their concern. Some women are genuinely sympathetic. They remember their own early fears and approach her with private kindness. Others are less gracious. There are women who offer unsolicited opinions about what she is doing wrong. There are women who seem almost relieved that they were not the ones to struggle this way. The wife navigates this landscape every single day. She maintains composure at church. She responds graciously to every comment. But at home, alone, the weight breaks through. 3 years, no children, and everyone knows what the doctor says. In the 4th year, the couple makes a quiet decision. They will see a doctor. This is not a simple choice for the Amish. Visiting doctors for reproductive issues carries stigma. It feels like admitting a problem that perhaps should be left to God. But the desire for children is overwhelming. They travel to a non-Amish physician, going discreetly. The doctor conducts basic fertility testing on both the wife and the husband. This is significant. Many Amish couples resist testing the husband, but a thorough doctor insists on both. The results come back. In some cases, the problem is identified: low hormone levels, structural issues, or unexplained infertility where no clear cause is found at all. The doctor explains their options: basic medical interventions, hormonal support, timing assistance. He is careful. He knows this couple will not pursue IVF or advanced reproductive technologies. The Amish view such interventions as overstepping God's design for life. He recommends conservative options only. The couple listens carefully. They take the information home. They pray over it together. They try the most modest interventions available. And they wait. Again, still hoping, still praying. The doctor visit does not bring immediate resolution, but it brings clarity about their situation. That knowledge, difficult as it is, helps them begin accepting a reality they have been avoiding. The spiritual crisis. The spiritual crisis comes quietly and then all at once. She has been praying for 3, 4 years now. Specific prayers, faithful prayers. She has fasted. She has asked the ministers to pray over her. She has attended every church service without fail. She has confessed every sin she can remember, wondering if unconfessed wrongdoing is somehow blocking God's blessing. And still nothing. The theological question she has been avoiding finally surfaces. Why is God withholding this from me? Is this punishment? Is this His will? Is there something fundamentally wrong with her faith? The Amish believe deeply that children are blessings from God. When the blessing does not come, the implication seems clear to her. God has not chosen to bless her. That thought is devastating. She speaks privately with the bishop. He is gentle but offers no easy answers. He says God's ways are not our ways. He says trials are given to strengthen faith, not destroy it. He reminds her that Sarah waited decades for a child. He says to keep trusting. She appreciates the words, but they do not fully quiet the ache inside her. At night, she lies awake and wrestles with the God she loves. She does not lose her faith, but she feels the distance between her prayers and God's silence more acutely than she has ever felt anything in her life. This is the darkest part of the journey. The spiritual crisis is private, mostly invisible to the community around her, but it is real. And it reshapes her relationship with her faith in ways that will take years to fully understand. How the husband responds. The husband carries his own grief, but he carries it differently. Amish men are not trained to discuss emotional pain openly. They are trained to work, to provide, to lead quietly, to be steady for their families. When his wife weeps, he sits with her. He holds her hand. He says little. He does not have the right words because no one ever taught him those words. In some marriages, the husband withdraws. He throws himself deeper into farm work. He fills long evenings with physical labor that exhausts the body and quiets the mind. He is not abandoning his wife. He is coping in the only language he knows. Other husbands become a quiet source of strength. They affirm their wife regularly. They remind her that her value is not defined by whether she can bear children. They tell her she is enough. These men are not common, but they exist. The husband also faces external pressure from his own family. His parents want grandchildren. His brothers have children. His father asks indirect questions about whether everything is all right at home. The husband deflects. He does not discuss the intimate details of his marriage with his father, but the pressure is constant. He faces his own spiritual questioning in the dark. He prays. He asks God why. He does not understand. He may carry private guilt, especially if the doctor found issues on his side. Amish men do not discuss this. It remains sealed inside the marriage. But it affects the husband as deeply as it affects his wife. Just silently, just without language to name it. Year 5, living with uncertainty. 5 years in, the couple exists in a state of suspended waiting. They have tried what they could try. They have prayed what they could pray. They have sought medical advice and spiritual counsel. And still, there are no children. Life has continued around them in a way that feels almost cruel. Church services are held in the homes of families with children everywhere. The fellowship meal is full of young mothers comparing pregnancy stories and nursing infants. Neighbors announce pregnancies regularly. Each announcement is a small wound. The wife has learned to receive these announcements gracefully. She has practiced the expression of genuine joy. She is happy for her neighbors, truly, but she is also grieving. And she has been grieving for 5 years without pause. The household is quiet in a way that Amish households are almost never meant to be. No children's voices, no crying in the night, no small feet on the floorboards in the early morning. The house is clean and orderly and deeply lonely. Her husband is there. Their relationship has survived the strain of these years. But they both feel the absence everywhere. The empty bedroom, the unused cradle, the baby clothes she sewed in the first year of marriage, folded in a trunk she cannot bring herself to open. At 5 years, the community has largely moved from speculation to a kind of Resigned sadness. People have stopped expecting an announcement. They have accepted that this is her story. The whispers have quieted. What replaced them is sometimes worse: silence, adoption, and alternatives. At some point in the fifth year or beyond, the couple begins seriously considering their alternatives. The most significant is adoption. The Amish do adopt. Both Amish orphans and non-Amish children have been adopted into Amish families throughout history. The process looks different depending on the community. Some couples adopt privately through family networks. If a relative dies and leaves children without care, the infertile couple may step forward to take them. This feels natural and right. It keeps children within the family. It gives the couple children to raise without the social complexity of formal outside adoption. Formal adoption through state agencies is more complicated for Amish families. They generally prefer to keep legal matters as internal as possible, but they do work with adoption agencies when family placement is not available. A non-Amish child adopted into an Amish family is raised fully Amish. They wear plain clothes, attend the community school, and are expected to eventually make the same baptism decision as any Amish-born child. The adjustment requires patience from everyone. But Amish communities generally absorb adopted children with genuine warmth. Another path is becoming primary caregivers for a niece or nephew whose parents are struggling financially or emotionally. If a sibling is going through a difficult period, the infertile couple may offer to take a child temporarily. Sometimes temporarily becomes permanent, and everyone accepts this quietly. There is also the role of becoming the family the whole community brings their children to. The Amish woman who cannot bear children often becomes the woman every child feels safe with, the trusted helper, the patient teacher, the beloved aunt figure to dozens of children who are not hers by birth but are fully hers by love. A different kind of motherhood. The Amish woman who walks through 5 years of infertility and emerges on the other side has been changed in ways that are difficult to describe. She has grieved deeply and honestly. She has wrestled with God in the dark. She has endured social scrutiny, quiet pity, and the particular loneliness of watching everyone around her move through a life stage she could not access. She has survived all of that. And what she finds on the other side is not the life she expected. It is something different, something quieter, something she had to learn to value because the life she planned was simply not available to her. If she adopts, she discovers that love for a child does not require biology. The child placed in her arms is hers completely. She feeds that child, she teaches that child. She sews that child's clothing and comforts them through fevers and nighttime fears. She is a mother. The path was different than she imagined, but she arrived at the same destination. If she does not adopt, she finds other forms of purpose that women absorbed in large families never have time for. She quilts for community fundraisers. She teaches Sunday school with patience and care. She tends to elderly community members who have no one else nearby. She is available in ways that mothers of 8 can never be. Her home is calm and welcoming. People seek her out. Children who need a quiet presence come to her naturally. The community that once whispered about her begins to value her in a different and unexpected way. She is no longer the woman who could not have children. She is the woman who made her life deeply meaningful in spite of it. The Amish do not celebrate individual achievement, they celebrate faithfulness. And she has been faithful through years of God's silence, years of neighbors' whispers, and years of grief in an empty house. She remained, she served, she loved. That is what the Amish call a life well lived, not counted by children born, but measured by faithfulness endured. And the community, quietly, in the Amish way, honors her for exactly that. What happens when an Amish wife cannot get pregnant after 5 years of marriage is one of the most painful and least discussed experiences in Amish community life. From the outside, the Amish appear to be a culture built entirely around large families, and they are. But within that culture, there are women who walk a different path, not by choice, not by failure, but by circumstances entirely beyond their control. The journey moves through predictable stages. Year 1 brings private worry. Year 2 brings quiet questions from others. Year 3 brings community speculation that cannot be avoided. Year 4 brings the difficult and stigmatized step of seeking medical understanding. Year 5 brings a confrontation with permanent uncertainty that cannot be resolved by trying harder or praying more. Through all of it, the wife must maintain her composure at church and in the community. She must receive pregnancy announcements with grace every time.